and you feel like shaking the whole world and correcting it, don't try it. You can't do it. But don't leave God's side, and He will do it for you. Because He says, vengeance is mine. I will judge. Don't you judge. You may make a mistake, but let God judge. And He will judge correctly, and He will never forsake you. Master said, don't worry. He says, God will never forsake you. And so I don't worry, and none of us should worry, if we will but trust Him and realize we are His children. Father, we are Thy children. Help us never to leave Thy side. Master said most wonderful words. He went through many tests, as many of you know, to establish this work of self-realization. In such a short time, it took tremendous energy, but it took tremendous suffering. And that's what he did. Why? Because you and I might be able to have that little church in our home and contact God. He opened the channel, and if he had not done it, it would not be so easy for us. Let us not forget that. Master had his troubles. And he told me many times, if it were not for God alone, I would not have been able to preserve my sanity. I'm sure that church is necessary in our home. Even from that one testimony, Jesus had his troubles. He had his tribulations. So much so that he had to go and pray in that little church, wherever it was. He had no home like we have, perhaps, but he went into that little temple, wherever it was, and contacted God. That's how he was able to stand up against tribulation and these tests which come. Because the way of the cross leads home. There's no other way. You have to rise above worldly consciousness to reach that home. And in that worldly consciousness is trouble. So you're going to have trouble. That's why the way of the cross will take you out if you trust God and enter that little church within every day and regularly. And so finally, faith, though weak, even though our faith is weak, it will be strengthened. It will become dynamic if we will daily meditate and contact God. Through right meditation and concentration on God within, we can be one with His presence. Because, as our Master has said, our very consciousness is God's consciousness. When you feel the peace and bliss which you feel as we meditate together this morning, that's the presence of God. Now, if you regularly, every day, concentrate on that presence, what do? You become that presence. Because we are made in the image of God, we are His children. And as such, if we can but know it and realize it, as He has all things, so will we. And that means we will have security and inner assurance that no force in the universe can touch us if we daily enter that little home, little church in our home, and keep the contact with God. And so it is very necessary, very essential. And all families who do that, if you look about you and read, you will find those who contact God and join together in prayer, and especially those in self-realization who will daily make the contact with God. They will succeed, and they will see the hand of God guiding them regularly in everything they do. A friend of mine who is in Connecticut and is the head of a large church there has these words to say. In my quarter century of ministry, I have never known a single instance of those who have prayed and worshiped together habitually to have been separated. And so let us realize that. Gandhi said the same thing, speaking about his mate. He said, I don't know what it is, but I do know this thing about her, that there is an inseparable, indissoluble bond between us. And that's the bond which is between all of those people who regularly pray and meditate and contact God, and that inseparable bond is His great love. And if we have that, we need fear nothing. If we in our daily activity feel God's love with us, who can touch us? Who can disturb us? No one. If God is with us, who can be against us? And so let us remember the Master's words. That inner security and inner assurance will always be with us if through that little church in our home we keep contact with our one.
In order to profit from these practical teachings in a meaningful way, which will have a definite and tangible impact in your life, we suggest that you subscribe to the Self-Realization Fellowship's home study course on the science of yoga. Please visit the SRF on the web at yogananda-srf.org or call the SRF's Mother Center in Los Angeles, California at 323-225-2471.